Alright, we're back from work and you all are getting a video. Was supposed to do it at work on a break, but yeah, things come up, shit happens. I'm on Windows 11 now for my work computer. So I took the plunge, had to do a bunch of other stuff. Might as well. Partially open package. Some quick things. Ran out of tub of towels. We got another order here. For servers that need a keyboard and mouse, I like using the that guy. It's cheap, the K400 or K400 Plus, because it shows up as a trackpad and a keyboard. Often I don't need to interface directly with them, but I do need a keyboard and mouse, especially in the case of my repair PC here, because this keyboard and mouse, you're like, why not use those? Well, those I want to be accessing like hardware assigned to the VM. Well, then if I still need to interact with the box that's running the hypervisor, or Unraid in this case, which is not actually hypervisor, but you know, like the server OS, I need a separate keyboard and mouse. Thing is, stuff sitting around here, that's why I got a keyboard cover on the HHKB now. That one needs to be cleaned off. But just cat hair for dust, especially in the basement. So I bought this hard case for it. That way, you know, until I need it, I can just take it out of, take it out of the thing, leave it propped up or along the wall or something, or behind a monitor, and grab it when needed, and not have to worry about it being all dusty, dirty, grimy, cruddy. Let's see here. We've also got some of these little guys here. USB A to C, male to male. Super duper useful for like mouse receivers. If you've seen in my Vaxi mouse videos, pop one of those on there. Bada bing, bada boom. I gave David the one from my work bag there, so I gotta open this up and add one back to it. And I'm out of these guys, which are really short. They're C female to C male, and you're like, why would you? It's like it's a little extension. Yes, they're actually super duper useful. So even if you look at like a chubby cable, they have this notch that brings them down. Sometimes that's not enough to get into something, so you could add this on there. The other thing is sometimes devices either do their own proprietary USB-C or they aim for the Apple USB-C. The Apple USB-C is actually thinner than the VESA standard for USB-C. This outer step is Apple-sized, and that one, that inner dip down, is even skinnier. They used to sell these in 4-packs, and I thought they had stopped selling because this is the only brand. It's like Cellularize is the name of the brand. I'm like, shit, can I not get any more? Because that happens with these adapters from time to time. And nope, it's just they only sell a 2-pack now. You can buy a 2-pack of 2-packs, which is like, why not just sell me the 4-pack? Another one that even a coworker has, because I recommended him years ago when he worked with me at the previous job, is this guy. This one, they no longer make it, by Stouchi, Stouchi. They're out of the UK. This was the only Apple adapter, USB-C to Lightning, that actually maintained all of the functionality of the Lightning cable. I don't think it'll fast charge, but it will do power and data properly. Whereas something like this Minova here, right, which is what I normally carry, I think the differentiation is this will actually quick charge, this Minova. So pick these up, but it won't data. Similar issue with, now most of what I need for Lightning is charging. You know, I'll get out a Lightning cable if I really need one for data, like syncing something, because my iPhone SE 3rd gen, that's my backup phone, is still Lightning. Now this is also another Minova product, and this is kind of a big thing. This also supports fast charge. This is a USB-C to micro B. Most of these are wired up to just like fault the resistor for the 5 volt and just do 5 volt. This will actually do quick charge. just like an A to micro B would, it will do that, which is super important. So those are super duper useful. Nowadays, I keep one in the like one of every adapter: camera bag, work bag, repair bag, car, because that way you can just have one Type-C cable. And normally I don't even use a chubby cable. If I just have one, I actually have a USB 4 or a C to C cable, like a shorter one that can do, easily 100 watts and do data, because those don't do data. Or if they do, they're only USB 2.0. So on to the video that we're supposed to make here, which is not about the fact that 3M no longer makes I knew they stopped making the cubes for the sticky notes, right? Turns out, not only have they stopped making the cubes, I can't even refill them anymore. 3M no longer makes full stick sticky notes. It's a travesty. Those were, for those of you that actually use sticky notes, those were, still are. I don't have like a weird blur at the bottom. Don't know. Must be something with the UI. Make it easier to see the time recording or something. Does make it look odd in the video though. Oh yeah, Paisley got me in the bathroom. Look at that. She's got some sharp talons on her at the moment. But yes, 3M stopped making full stick sticky notes, which, like I said, is a travesty. So I went to go refill my cube here. Obviously, it's missing one of its sides, and it will never be refilled again. I was out of them, and you can't order them. Apparently, they've been gone for a number of months. I usually bought like a 16-pack, like the biggest pack of them you could. Usually 2 packs at a time, and then just wouldn't think about it for months on end. So what I did do, though, is because home's more important than work for this stuff, I had a little set of them. This is all I had left at work. That's maybe half of what one of these normally is. You can kind of see that there, Some of them are a little bit bigger than others, but that's almost a full stack right there. So I have some left. I am not going to stick this on here because you do kind of generally sacrifice one to stick it. Sometimes you can just pull off this back one, but often when you go to pull this one off, it'll also pull off the lowest singular note. I do also, besides having the cubes are good for things that are going to last a bit longer, but if you're going to write a note, pull it off and stick it to something, it's easier to write on these thinner. That's also something like about full stick, is generally they came in a smaller stack, compared to like the full-size sticky notes about that tall, which is harder to write on. The closer to the surface are when you're writing, the easier it is. So the fact that it's up here is harder. That's somewhat why I don't like the cubes as well, because you're up so high and your arm's not supported. But it was nice to have 6 sides with 6 different notes going for various different things. But 3M, so if you guys know a solution for this, if another brand makes full stick, these are specifically the full stick super sticky. I swore by these. I might have even made a video in the past on them. These are the sticky note. They are no longer, though. Pow. Another thing you might have seen over here, that is a bag of water cooling fittings. Oh, and an old school trackball and a Samsung bar flash drive, but mainly the water cooling fittings. So keep an eye out for that. Buddy's finally finishing his water cooling build. Some of that's due to me, in life. But I have a bunch of time off due to the holidays, and I finally said, hey, dude, we're doing this. And he's like, yeah, I really need that to happen. So Next off, this is the actual package that you guys saw that I pulled out the sticky notes from that I'm going to keep close and use. Sadly, have to use sparingly, whereas before they were sticky notes. And will I go back to normal sticky notes? I shudder to like because they always peel up because it's only on the top third of the sticky note, right? Oh, I like the fact that when you stuck it to something, it would stick, or I would stick them into my notebook, and then I could write around it or draw diagrams towards it, and it would stay in that page, and it would stay flat. When you flip the page, it wouldn't like flail out, accidentally get folded, and then, you know, get like wrecked, bent, etc. So, you might know from that where this is from. Keras Pen Co. There's an eyedropper, as well as refills. So that might give you a small hint as to what we're looking at here. Wrapped up nicely. Well, it was heavy. I was like, oh, those can't be my cubes. That container is not big enough. So I was wondering, keep an eye out. I did order both of their end-of-year limited edition cubes. One was Pen Club only, and one was for everyone, because I am out of cube storage. The Carryology pen was the first one that doesn't have a spot. Oh my gosh, this was well worth it. I'm going to have to bring it in to show David tomorrow. This is technically like the gift packaging for this, but the Keras Kustoms Ultem Vertex was the first, like their first Ultem pen, and I always wanted it. Cost-wise, a little bit out of my realm back when it came out. Also, wasn't really doing, I was avoiding the fountain pens. Well, now I picked up the Decograph. Love the Decograph. Go back, watch that video. Got the ink too. Watch that one as well. I bought the Rollerball conversion for that though. I did use it as a fountain pen for a bit, but that was more to be, I bought, because it was only available as a fountain pen, but then you can get the Rollerball conversion, and they were nice enough to make me another, not barrel, but like another Ultem piece, because normally they would make that out of aluminum, not Ultem. So I actually have like just basically like changeable inserts for the Ink V2 where I can do fountain pen or Rollerball, because I normally rock Rollerball. It is vibing there first, but this is their original Ultem pen. This is the chemical thing for Ultem, which has a generic name that I can't remember. Something petrochloride, I'm sure. This whole thing's I'm so happy they brought this container back, because this was like on, I don't remember, I don't think they had, this is, pretty sure this is milled. Listen to that. Now this is aluminum sheet. Oh, they lasered the directions on the back. Okay, so this is a thin aluminum sheet. They definitely laser etched the top. That's like a black brushed aluminum, right? That then they did a laser etch on the top here with that, you know, like the. I need to. Ultem. Alright, come on, load her up. Oh, let's cancel that. I got the Bock one for a good reason, and you'll see why shortly. Polythermide, PEI, trade name Ultem. Gift box with an extra $25. Custom engraving the lid. Oh, I don't think I had the custom engraving option. I was able to add the box, but not the custom engraving. I think this note was from their original thing in 2017, maybe? If that was that long ago? It was a while ago, though. I did not have the option to do a custom engraving, but this is still amazing. Hey, Paisley Marie. Hey, we got the kitten, guys. Yep. How is the Paisley? Yeah, you wounded me. Yeah. And then on the back side, they actually engraved. Yep. And this is why I got the Bock. They do have Jowo, right? However, it does not work as intended. I think Jowo is the correct pronunciation, right? Jowo. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the Vertex is designed to be used as an eyedropper pen. It can accept a standard international cartridge or converter. They don't even ship it with the converter. Sever silicone rings to seal the chamber and used for cap retention. Proper cleaning is achieved by the use of warm water and mild detergent. Microfiber cloth can be used to wipe the external surface down of the pen. Eyedropper pens can burp air due to air exchange and warming. This is normal and can be eliminated by keeping the pen filled maximum volume or with the use of converter. Not for use as chopsticks, musicians on hammer and nail or any non-pen thing, though the Vertex is designed to help you create magic. Yeah, so using the Bock refill, you can make it into an eyedropper, and you're like, oh, I can do that with any pen. Like, you know, you could do it with the Decograph or the Ink V2 as well. Yes, but generally you have to put silicone grease or some other kind of grease in the threads to act as a seal, right? They're not like designed to do it. Or on some of them, I've seen some of them use like a more of acrylic and it'll crack and that sort of stuff. This is specifically designed with their Bock refill, not the Jowo, because they actually have to use the O-rings to fit the Jowo in properly. With the Bock, though, it is as intended. So normally I go with the Jowo nib. I can see why it's more popular, but this one, being that it's their original, I don't think it's their original fountain pen design. They've had other fountain pen designs, right? But it is their original Ultem. Oh, there is a converter. It's in there. Okay. I need a knife. Which knife? Oh, we got the copper one here. I'll use the copper Tuck HD. Still isn't, even with, you see that? Even with the DeWalt carbide blades, the copper not always fully extending on the blade. The titanium has the opposite issue. The stock is not the same size as the aluminum, so it often actually extends too far because this opening is bigger. Like, we're so close. Look at just a little bit more and it would do it, but it just originally I had that issue because I was using, or I thought it was because I was using the Fiskars blades that have the hole in the middle, and this button goes right on the hole. You can see it just doesn't advance enough. That kind of happens on, I'm going to say the best way for a Tuck XL or HD, get a anodized aluminum one. Because the Cerakote ones, well, go check out my orange Cerakote Tuck XL video and subsequent videos of finish on it. And I can even say on some of those, when they do the inside as well, that comes off over time for the Cerakote because the blade's constantly rubbing back and forth, back and forth. Whereas the anodize actually adds a harder material for the blade to slide on. So some of my best action knives are just anodize. But let's check this out. So I have wanted this basically since they released it. I thought this is the first Ultem, and the Ultem has existed for a long time, right? But this was the first one that I saw / noticed / it was like making a comeback around this time, because obviously this material is much older. It's actually like more of a classic material to use. Not just in pens either, just like an older material. Now it's being brought back for its looks. Oh, that pop feels so. Look at that with the Karas engraving on the nib. And I got the extra fine. And here's the thing. They're actually using an O-ring, a custom tri O-ring in there for it to actually snap in, which is very unique. And you can post it if you want to. Look at that. Look at that. It is posted. And that tri O-ring goes curse snap. And then if we pull this apart here, this is where you unscrew this. And I don't have any ink right now, so I can't do either the converter or the eyedropper. Eyedropper is probably how I would use it. But if you look, there's another O-ring here, right? That's why you can use it as a eyedropper, because it seals up around there. Whereas, and I can go and grab my decograph. Here, you can see they kind of made a new design for the Jowo refill. I don't think that's nearly as stunning as that one. I think that's their older design. Really kind of pops. Never was realistically. Karas has made, like, they've made the ink, obviously, which is, this is the ink V2 with its. This is the piece they custom made for me right there, that grip, because normally that grip would be like this right here and would be in aluminum. But because this is the Ultem one, and every other piece I could have an Ultem, I was like, hey, is there any way I can buy an extra one of those? Because now here's another thing too that I found that my ink V1 doesn't do. That time it did it fine, but like it wants to cross thread itself. There you go. And I kind of showed that. Apparently, that is just how the Ultem is with the ink V2, sadly. Because they did not redo the dimensions for this, it just wants to bind that little bit, and I can prove to you it's not necessarily Ultem in general. Because here's decograph. Now, the cap goes over this, right? As you can see, you just go straight in. You don't even have to run it backwards. Whereas this guy, because they line up perfectly, it can have a little hitch in its come along there. I think that's using a juice refill. So pilot juice, yeah. Had to be a G2 style. And the tip is a certain way too, so I think a juice, like, it might juice up might fit, it just wouldn't be right. Now you can see there's threading here, right? Especially because of how this ink is, making this an eyedropper, I do not know how well that would go, because you'd have to like put stuff here to make that, like grease in here to make that happen, but then this is also right there is another one, so you'd probably have to grease that too. Just, you know, not hugely, you know, like sealable sort of thing, you know, like. And decograph's a little bit better because, but then you see there's threading here, you know, in the adapter for the Jowo, or like where the Jowo screws in up here. But this at least, it has a much longer thing there and screws all the way down in here. So you'd have a chance, I guess. That's some really fine threading, so be careful with that as well. Between the ink and the Decograph, I much prefer the Decograph. It's just, I don't know, sleeker pen. I do have an ink V1 Rollerball that we got from the like Battle Worn or grab bag sort of thing. It's a little bit thicker. The grip is a little bit shorter, it feels like. That might not be as bad with a fountain pen, because fountain pen's gonna be a little longer than the Rollerball there. But from that, you should be able to tell why and how this one was designed to. And for those wondering, if we do a 5x zoom here, you can see in where this nib comes in, there's another O-ring right there, right? Because this screws into here. That's why the Jowo would not work, is because the dimensions here for this grip could not fit that O-ring anymore that's made for the Bock. So they do give you the option of doing the Jowo, but they say, be aware, you will not be able to use it as intended as an eyedropper, like normal. You know, you can see how this has that really fine threads on there that the Decograph has. It has a little bit less of them. But then it's got that O-ring that it goes into. But you can see the grip is much bigger and longer than the ink. And I just liked how they designed these snap-on cap. You can get replacement O-rings, both. I think the snap-on cap, they give you 3. I'm not sure about the other ones. But you can get all of them replaced. Like even this grip, you can see is longer than the inks. Like right there, that region there. Compare that to, and this could just be all preference, you know what I mean? See, look at how much longer that is. And then we can compare it to the Vertex. And you can see it's just a much, I feel like this is a very classic fountain pen style. I'm not too much, you can see this grip's actually bigger, which I do like, thicker, and it's much longer, like this entire region here longer. If we line up the backs, that would be there. So that should show you how, now the nib on the Bock Vertex does look bigger. They're both EF number 6, I believe. So like theoretically they're writing the same, but the physical size difference may explain. You can see like the, I don't know what you're gonna call those, like vents on the back. The vents is the wrong term, as somebody not super into fountain pens. You guys tell me the correct terms down in the comments. But you can see it's more rounded, whereas it's flatter on the Jowo nib compared to like the more rounded Bock nib. It looks like the, I don't want to say collar, but like the stem part here is longer on the Bock nib. So that might explain why they can't use this same O-ring on the Jowo. You know what I mean? But this Vertex has been on my list for a while. I want to say either end of 2023 or beginning of 2024, they said they were no longer going to be making them. Like in general, they had already stopped making the Ultem version, right? But they said they were going to stop making the Vertex in general, and then they clearanced it all off their site. And I was like, no, I never, like, I'm like, you guys brought back the, you know, like the Decograph, they didn't bring back, but you brought out the Decograph in Ultem, and I snatched it up. Then you brought back out the ink in Ultem, because I just think these look amazing. Like the fountain pens in general just look amazing in Ultem. And I, like I said, the Decograph is like here. The way that this goes into here and it's chamfered is just beautiful, right? This nice big clip. I like the crown on the cap. That's Paisley jumping and falling on something. The ink, like I said, not as preferred. The grip is smaller. The body's thicker. Some people you know, I feel like this grip style is also fairly common in some pen designs. I feel like I said, because of how it meets up here, it's just a little bit more prone to stuff. I think my original one had an issue and they sent a replacement back piece here. There was like a crack or a milling mark down here that you only saw once you put in this spacer. Now, they knew I was intending on using it as a rollerball with that spacer. So, like I said, they've been great. You got your great warranty through them. They replaced it. I didn't even, like, I think I might have brought that one up. The one with, I did also have issues with one of my Ultem modals where you could kind of see the milling or drill marks in it. And I was like, and it was the full Ultem one. I was kind of like, hey, be aware when you're dealing with transparent stuff. It actually, like, normally you would not see the milling marks on the inside of it. However, because you're making it out of Ultem, you can / do. God, the weight of this is so good. I think the Decograph is actually lighter than the Vertex. I want to say the Vertex might even be heavier than the ink. But the fact that it's got a pop cap, can post, right? And it's got this very classic fountain pen shape. And like I said, I had to go with the Bock nib as much as the Dro was preferred by many. And I will say this Decograph writes beautifully. It's also in EF Extra Fine. They were out of those for the Ink V2. And I went with the Fine. I think that's like EF is 0.5, Fine is 0.7, roughly equivalent. This thing flew through ink, if I recall correctly, refill-wise. But converted over the Rollerball because this I'm far more likely to just use on the day-to-day. I can always convert it over whenever I want. That's the nice thing about the ink, is that it has these, like I said, the interchangeable bits here. Where and I have mine set up where, because normally this would screw out, and then you would put the fountain pen bit in there, and there's a whole bunch that screws apart. And that's another reason here. There's even more. So not only does this grip screw into this part that screws into there, right? This black part screws into the grip. So like, there's no way to probably make this an eyedropper. The amount of like seals and or like threading and stuff that you do have to worry about it leaking through. Good luck. But like I said, the Vertex was designed for it, so I went with the original classic, just like how I would have ordered it originally when it first came out, if I could have. At the time, designed with the Bock, exactly how it was intended. Where that's why they give you an eyedropper for it. Some of these other ones they say like, technically you can convert it. This one they literally give you an eyedropper, fill her up, and run it. And you can definitely feel that O-ring engage when you screw this on. Should we use one of those refills real quick on it? Let's see one out. There you go. So now I do have their full collection. Decograph, ink, and Vertex. And this, like I said, this thing's really cool, this container. I'm like 99% sure this is milled aluminum. Yeah, that's milled. If they have to mill out that entire middle of this to make this, like it's not hollow. Oh no, yeah it is. It would have to be because it's got a base. See like that? Yeah, you can see they've milled it all out. That's even if you end up pulling out the insert for this and using it not for this pen for storage, that's probably what I will end up doing. Maybe use it for storing pen parts or refills or something like, and you just pull this foam out, store it with the other random pen parts, because that way you can still use this on the day-to-day, because this is like nice milled aluminum with a nice, really cool looking. If you're actually going to be using this, you're probably not storing it in there. Is kind of what I'm getting at. But then you can reuse that, because I can see why that's $25 now. Especially if they're hollowing out that whole thing. I thought for a second maybe it was, you know, out of some sort of, like they milled it down from some sort of pre-molded piece. I don't see how they could do that now. Where's my notebooks? Oh, they're under the camera. All right. Oh, here's what I mean by under the camera. There you go. You guys want to see my checklist of all the updates I need to do? By the way, it just increased again because the Intel graphics driver just got a major update. If you guys have .NET 6 vulnerabilities, probably need to deal with that. Also, if you have anything 11th gen or newer, basically the Arc B series came out, and now they have just like Intel graphics software as the management software instead of like the Arc Control Center or whatever it is. Renamed it, centralized all of them into that. Looks much nicer. Hopefully some things got fixed. But usually I just use, here you go, like when I want to start a refill, or the refill's not going, I just pick a page in the back and kind of scribble. And yeah, or you're like, oh, why, you say you bought it for the eyedropper, why aren't you using the eyedropper? Because I don't have any ink right now. See, there's the kind of super cheap filler. Hey, better than nothing, but that is like a if Dollar Tree sold eyedroppers, maybe they do, that would be a Dollar Tree eyedropper. It'll do what it's supposed to do if you guys didn't have one, you know. Let's pop this off, unscrew this. Of all of these, this definitely feels the most quality. That, oh, you can see why they need that. Okay, so the O-ring here is in case this leaks, right? Because that's where the actual in. You see how far that out? That's 5x that in. Okay, so I just figured this out when I'm pulling it out. I forgot how long this was, but this is actually seated all the way up to that O-ring. So that's why there needs to be this O-ring up here. If you see how far that goes in, seals up to the tip. And then the bottom O-ring in the body down here seals the grip to the body. So that is why they need both, is because I did not realize immediately that this goes like, and you'll see this when I put it together, it goes way the heck up there. Oop, that's the cap. Hold on here. So if you look at how short that refill looks in there for now, look at that. It's a little baby guy. So to a 2x here. Look, a little baby guy. So this would have actually been like that. You see that? That should illustrate how short this ink is. Like, if I flip this around, this is longer than the front of the pen. Yet this grip is super long. Like, I feel like this is a classic fountain pen refill, not knowing. If anyone wants to send me a video on how to get these started when you use a refill, though, because I feel like this takes forever. I'm probably helping it along far more than I should. Really do need to get myself a bottle ink, though, because now that I have this eyedropper one, I definitely want to be using it, and then I can use these on the other ones, so I don't have to buy refills. Basically, since I've got enough pens and I converted one to a Rollerball, I've had enough refills to get through. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, this feels like a much longer pen, you can tell in hand. Not in like a bad way, but I can see why I don't like the ink as much though, because if this feels longer and it's technically like considerably longer, but the grip is like this grip fits my hand well here. The ink one, I can see how. Gotta burp the pen. As one downside of all of these pens that use like true ink refills, like I used to love the Rotring Rapidographs, still do actually, but if you do not use them literally all the time to keep the ink flowing in them, cleaning them up and cleaning them out enough to use them when you haven't used them for a while is rough. And that may have been what happened here. Because I am not getting much of anything. This should have still have ink in it, plenty of ink, yeah. Another reason why it would be advantageous to use these converters is if I knew I was not going to use it for a while, I could squish it out. Well, can't do a comparison between these two because this guy is just not complying. Yeah, it's not like the Rapidographs you actually shake because there's actually like a metal ball in there and that gets it going. This seems to have dried out, sadly. I'll have to deal with that another time. But the Vertex, the ergonomics of this, I like having the little bit thicker. You can hold it back a little bit further if you want because this is nice and rounded right there. But you can get your hand closer too. Now here we'll post the cap for you guys too. See, and if you want it a little bit longer, you just post the cap. Feels a little chunky that way. Oh, here it feels super nimble. Like I said, yet there's this. You can get their Vertexes in a whole type of stuff. You don't have to get them in Ultem. But this container up here is like I saw when they came out with the Vertex. Like the Ultem was their launch Vertex, and it was like. Bock refill, definitely not a problem by any means. And then if that's what eventually allows this to run as a dropper pen, perfect. You can tell, I think. Either this is dried out, like the refill is dried out, or the ink has dried in the fountain pen, and I will have to run at a minimum water through it. if not more. So, well, let me know what you guys think. Which of these three would you get? Would you get the OG Ultem like I did today in its nice gift presentation box? Like so. Decograph, which is the one I was trying to get running here. If you like one with a screw-off cap, I would say this thing, the way that it lines up and it screws on, get this in a Jowo. This is also the pen they introduced their Jowo tips on with their new design. And if you actually use yours on a regular basis, it will probably write for you. The ink is one of their older, bulkier designs. You can actually tell the modal cap and clip is based, well, top is based on it. I think this works a bit better, being that I have it in aluminum. I think it works a little bit better there. Even here with just the rollerball refilling, I want to hold it back further. So like having these two fingers here and this back here. Now normally I would want to do this, but to kind of extend it out, you can kind of put this on this gripper. It's just a little too tight, and then when I tighten up on this, it gets thicker. It's already thicker here than on the other pens, but it gets real chonky right there. Picked it up though as part of the collection. Also could use it as a rollerball. I regularly use the Ink V1 as well. It's actually, because it's one of the battle-worn, I don't call them grab bags. I forget what they call them. Sack pens or whatever. David and I both got one. And I actually jammed a Hi-Tec-C refill in mine, a full-length one. Because if you eschew the spring and a bunch of other crap and like this spacer, you can jam it in there. And it actually works great. So I always like having, and that's a full size, not a click type Hi-Tec-C, not a Hi-Tec-C Coletto, not a Hi-Tec-C, you name it. Full size Hi-Tec-C is in there. And those are the best writing Hi-Tec-Cs. Colettos actually write quite well, but they have no ink in them, so it's just like, you're out. You're out. Oh, this is coming with me to the office because I think Squeers needs to see it. And this box is, I forgot how nice it looked. I think this darker engraving on this older box style tip looks really nice through the Ultem. I'll try and zoom it in to show you. This is why I thought this one looks so good. You can kind of see it reflect from inside. Who is sharpening and fucking... You're doing it on my camera bag! My camera bag, kitten. What the fuck? I don't even know where to put stuff anymore to protect it from you. I can't stay there, but we'll have to find a place for it. God dang it. Well, that's my life there. If you heard her going clip, 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 that was her sharpening her claws. Those really, really, really nice sharp claws that did that to me on my nice Billingham camera bag, which she has never done before. It is just moved from one spot to another spot the other day because I here, let's unhook this. I used to have it like in this region. But I had to move it because I was building, that's the new server that's in a Define 7. And I was working on it. Also have a friend system over there. All right, so I had to move it because it was like over here. So I moved it over there. And she was laying on her side, sharpening on the back of it. Now, props to Billingham. You can't even tell, but if I let her go at that, you know, she would be making it look like the side of this Fractal North box. Yeah, she pulls chunks off there and eats it because she has a cardboard deficiency. You know, all kittens have cardboard deficiencies, right? What? Is she the only one? Is this little kitten the only one with the cardboard deficiency? Miss Paisley Marie? Oh, and here's King Arthur. Just sitting there watching, because he knows it's bad. Right, dude? Yeah, you know it's bad. You're just waiting to see what's going to happen. Well, which of these three would be your choice? What would you rock? And why? Talk to you in the comments, as always, on the process, on all the social medias. Maybe we'll see you on our Discord. Have a good one. Peace.